Hello, my name is Olivia Brown, and this is my internship final PowerPoint. For my internship, I worked with Smarter Parenting. It's kind of a funny story on how I came to work for them, how I found them. In the fall of 2015, BYU Idaho took a group of students to the World Congress of Families that was being held in Salt Lake City that year. And I was an online student. I was living in New York at the time, but I applied to be a part of that group and I got accepted, and I was super excited, and I flew to Salt Lake and I attended that conference, which was really life-changing in a number of ways. But one of them was that I found this internship and I found Smarter Parenting. When I got there, I made a commitment to myself that I would be proud of where I was as a student, and do my best to be confident and speak to these organizations and people that I would meet as if I was an equal and not a lesser citizen because I was just a student studying these topics. And that was hard for me, but I tried really hard to approach people that I would not normally approach and have important conversations. And so one of those organizations was Smarter Parenting. They had a booth, and I went right up to them and I engaged with them a little bit, asked what they were doing, asked some probing questions, and really just loved what they stood for and what their mission was. And so I took their card, and a while later, as I was looking for an internship, I called and I just asked them straight out if I could be an intern and how the influence they had had on me at that conference, and they gave it to me, and it was a blessing. So what is Smarter Parenting? What do they do? Smarter Parenting is an online resource for parents who are looking for parenting advice and just need a resource to turn to. And it can be a whole gamut of parenting styles and people from diverse backgrounds. And that's kind of why I love Smarter Parenting, is that it's for anybody. It's not just for really terrible parents who are trying to improve. It's for all parents, anyone who's trying to be better. And so what Smarter Parenting does is that they have a set of lessons, like discipline, for example, and you can go through and watch these videos that they've made on these different lessons so that you can learn and apply that to your own family. My responsibilities at Smarter Parenting were the special topics lessons, or the issue-specific lessons, and I was asked to create and write parenting activities. So if you go back to this screen, if you look in the upper right-hand corner, you see that there's a couple tabs. There's lessons, issue-specific lessons, blog, resources, who we are. And so my tab was the issue-specific lessons. And these lessons were for certain disabilities or difficulties that children experience, and they give specific advice to parents who are dealing with these difficulties. So ADHD, anxiety, autism, bipolar disorder, depression, ODD, RAD, trauma, some really difficult topics. And it was a little bit daunting for me because I didn't have any experience with these issues. And so when I first talked to Amy, who's my supervisor, and she said, this is what we want you to do, I felt a little intimidated because I didn't have experience with special needs issues. And so it was a really wonderful learning opportunity throughout the course of the internship to familiarize myself with these issues and parenting in relation to these issues. And so what I did is I was in charge of creating activities such as games or I'll show you an example of a calendar, things that would help parents and children connect and grow together in fun ways. So I wasn't in charge of creating parenting content, like this is how you teach a autistic child how to listen. That wasn't my role. My role was to kind of the fun side of things. So I have a couple examples that I wanted to share with you. This is an example of something that I created for autism, and it is a daily activity calendar, and it's a calendar that you assign a symbol to different activities and you put them on their calendar, and you hang that calendar in the child's room so the child can look at his calendar each day or each week and see, okay, on Wednesday there is a doctor's appointment. He sees a lab coat. Okay, there's a doctor's appointment on Wednesday. Swimming lessons are on Tuesday. There's a picture of some water or a pool. And this sense of routine can really set in, which can be really helpful for a child with autism. So that's an example of something that I wrote out for an activity for autism. I spent a lot of time researching. A lot of my time in this internship was spent researching these disorders and disabilities and difficulties so that I could be educated on the topics to provide content that was worthwhile. Another example, and this one, as you can see, is a lot simpler, but this was probably my favorite of all the activities that I created. This is probably my favorite one, and it's one of the most simple. Sticky Face is what I decided to name it, and this was for the RAD section. And RAD is reactive attachment disorder, children who have not learned how to attach to other people, and they have just no trust. And typically children with RAD are adopted from orphanages or out of the foster care system, something like that. They've experienced really traumatic events, and parenting children with RAD is really, really difficult. And learning to connect is really difficult. So this was an activity that I wrote to try and increase that connection between a parent and a child who doesn't know how to connect. And so it's something so simple. It's to create a little body and put stickers on it, and then place those stickers on each other's faces. And that sounds so silly, right? But for a child, stickers are fun, and it creates touch between a parent and a child where that might not exist. It might be really difficult for a child, but to place a sticker on a cheek or on a forehead is a lot more intimate than maybe we give it face value for. Good little play on words there. So what were some of the benefits to Smarter Parenting having me as an intern? They saved time because they didn't have to have an employee who was creating these activities. They saved money because I worked as a volunteer, as an intern, and I think that I really contributed usable content that would help them and their site and the people and their customer. And so I think those were the benefits of Smarter Parenting. My benefits was really this new set of knowledge that I gained from learning about parenting children with special needs. And it helped me to update my resume and have a relevant resume for when I graduate, to see that I have had work in this field, and it's specific and it's usable, and that really helped my resume. And I think probably the greatest benefit was just newfound confidence in my abilities, that I could take the coursework that I was learning and apply it in a work setting, that I had that ability. While I was working with issues that I didn't have any really understanding of before the internship, I did understand basic parenting principles from my classes at BYU Idaho that apply to all parents, whether they're parenting children with special needs or not. Consistency, for example, to give you an example, consistency is crucial to all parenting, especially if you have a child with special needs. And so I was able to take some of my coursework and really apply it. And I was grateful for that, and it made me feel confident in my abilities. So should you intern at Smarter Parenting? I would recommend it 100%. It was a wonderful experience. My supervisor, Amy, was so wonderful to work with, and she's just been so helpful every step of the way. Here's some of their contact info below if you would like to intern there, and I hope you do. Thank you.